You gotta wait a second for it to actually go live. But yeah, there's a lot of nudity in this film. Yeah, it's fun. See you in a minute.
Is it just me? Or is it getting crazier out there?
Make room as we pack in the crowd. Welcome everybody to the Late Late Horror Show. I am Dino, and that's Ginger. How you doing,
Spread
Ginger?
out, will you? It's crowded in here.
Yeah, make room in here. You know what I'm
Make a
saying?
hole.
Yeah. Welcome to movie discussion night here on Sunday, or is it Wednesday? Oh, it's Wednesday.
Wednesday.
And yeah, we're going to do a fantastic movie. I mean, we'll see after we go through this and talk about it. The Strange Vice of Mrs. Wardh from 1971.
Strange it was.
It was a bit strange, directed by Sergio Martino. Yeah, this one I kind of enjoyed a little bit more than.
Tell us about
some of
all the
other ones.
different titles by which this film is known, Dino.
I'm going to let you do that after I say hi to everybody in the
Oh,
chat.
yes.
Hello, Connie
Hi,
Clary.
everybody.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Connie Clary. Edward
Hi,
Stewart.
Connie.
Ocean. Rich Cat Ranch is here. Roger S. Max. Willie Abe.
Willie Abe. Let's talk about Willie Abe.
What about Night Freight Talk
His
Show? What's going
request.
on?
His request.
Trotter Horace Watson Jr.
Hello,
Listen,
sir.
there's no room for anybody else unless Ginger takes a day off, and then even then, I'll do it myself maybe.
Or loses 20 pounds.
What the hell are you talking about? But anyways, another Giallo. I screwed that up.
Dino,
What?
my friend,
Yes.
it takes all kinds of people to make the world go around. There's
It
room for
certainly does.
everyone to have their own opinion. And
Yeah.
I have come to the conclusion that I'm just not a Giallo kind of girl, okay? It's a fine.
Well, you're going to have a rough go at things.
It's a no. And I'm telling you, I will never decline to watch one of these movies with you ever. Everyone is an experience. I'm just saying, I just don't think that I'm a Giallo girl. It's too many people, too many characters with names that we don't need to know, too many twists and turns and plot changes.
Is it too complicated for you?
Red herrings
and
whodunits. And there's the rape. The rape kind of bothers me. And they're all the same. They're all the same.
Yeah.
And they just don't thrill me. That's all I'm saying.
Listen, well, that's the horror genre for you.
And I keep trying.
Listen, I know there's misogyny. I know there's things that, in these movies, the woman is portrayed as a certain. Listen, most of it's the women who are victims, and everything else that comes with the baggage of a horror film, especially an Italian horror film in the Giallo genre in the 70s. Hell, even through the slashers of the 80s. I mean, that is just what it is. I mean, I
have never seen Deep Red. Zach asked if I have not yet seen Deep Red. I'm saying, listen. Did I just say listen?
You said listen.
Oh, God.
Hey, Zach Cato. And
God.
She hasn't seen Deep Red. She hasn't seen the good
I
Dario
saw Suspiria.
Argento. You saw Suspiria? Yeah.
Near Dark.
Near Dark isn't.
I like Near Dark.
But that's a vampire movie. You're talking horror in general, right? So.
Oh no. Okay. What was that other one that I liked? That was definitely a Giallo.
No. Well, listen. Let's get on this movie here.
All right.
We'll talk about this.
All right.
You're not a Giallo person. I get it.
I'm not.
Some
but
of
I
them
will
are
still watch them. I enjoy watching them.
And no, I got you. Listen. Okay, so The Strange Vice of Mrs. Wardh is first of all, this movie has, and I know they all have twists at the end, but this is a very interesting twist. This movie almost has two different plots going on at the same time, right?
Yes. You don't find that out until literally the very end of the movie.
Yeah, well, and there's actually a couple twists at the end, but there's the killer portion and then there's the twist that goes on at the end. And we won't say nothing about that until a little bit longer in this discussion. But let me
Tune
just
in
say
to find out.
a lot of nudity in this film. That's
It's
for
a
sure.
Giallo, yeah.
Well, no, there's a lot of scenes where the women are taking off their clothes and walking into showers. It's just well, and no, and then there's lovemaking scenes where
Movies always create situations where women are naked, like they're models. It's always that they're models, so they're just always changing clothes and who has
Yeah.
time to cover up, but there's always nudity. They always make a reason for it. But anyway.
And the movie that we did last time, The Red Queen Kills 7 Times, that got the one character we talked about in the robe in his apartment,
Yeah.
the
His
groovy
little kimono.
the groovy wallpaper.
Mm-hmm.
I
The
believe,
hair, the terrible hair.
listen, I believe that this was the same exact apartment building.
Oh yeah.
Or
As soon as I
apartment.
saw that striped wallpaper, I was like, "That's the same apartment." And
And they're
Dino's going to
curved
see
the
that
same
it's the
way.
same apartment.
I went back and looked at the footage. It's the same exact apartment.
The layout
So
of it, how it curves.
yes. So they used
Same.
the same apartment.
Mhm.
Hello, Bubba. Just stopping by to give a thumbs up. Take care, everyone. Okay, see ya.
Thanks, Bubba. Hi, bye.
Hey, no use for a name. Nice Christmas tree says. What's going on? No use for
Oh,
a
I'm
name.
sorry for the brightness. I just want to say that right now. I apologize if anyone suffers any eye irritation from the brightness of my.
I think we'll be all
Tree.
right. A little bit of what's the drop? Visine will take the red out. So that's what'll happen. But yeah, it's the same apartment. But listen, this wasn't as dull and this wasn't as slow paced as a lot of the other
Are
ones.
you going to
that we
tell us
did.
the 25 people in this movie?
Well, I
Or
will
just
go
tell
through.
us the main ones, the one
tell
you
me
want
the
to talk
alternate.
about.
You tell me the alternate titles of names to this movie first, and then I'll talk about the characters.
The Strange Vice of Mrs. Wardh. And do you know
Yes.
why they had to add that H at the end?
Why?
Because there was a woman in Great Britain at that time whose last name was Ward, and the movie's posters around town were so salacious, she didn't want to be associated with it, and she complained to someone, and they added the H at the end because of this one lady.
That's
I don't know if
ridiculous.
that's true or if that's a legend. Did you hear that? I know you heard that.
I didn't dive in as deep this time. I enjoyed the film for what it was.
Okay, so
but
the part
the
where it
fact-
says blood erotic, that is sort of like the subtitle. It's like The Strange
Right.
Vice of Mrs. Ward, blood erotic. And then it was called Blade of the Ripper, and it was also considered Next or The Next Victim.
all dumb names. I like The Strange Vice of Mrs. Ward for sure. Hey, Black Roses. Hey, John McKee. What's going on? Yeah, but blood erotica. I mean, that's erotic. Blood erotic. That may, but that was just a small portion of this film because Julie Ward kind of had this, and we'll talk about it. This kind of little fetish type thing going on. And
I think that was a major fetish.
Yeah,
It was
but they
pretty.
don't go
It was
into
pretty intense.
No, well, at the beginning, yes, but how deep that goes into her lifestyle, who the hell knows? But listen, she slept with everybody. Anyways,
She did not. She did not.
Well, we'll talk about it.
Her husband
through the
wasn't
film.
handling things.
Yeah, well, okay. So, directed by Sergio Martino. Listen, we've got the beautiful Edwidge Fenech.
She's so lovely.
Oh, she is. She's so beautiful. And listen,
With that
in this
porcelain
movie,
skin and that jet black hair and those big brown eyes.
Yeah, her beautiful face in this film, just especially with the close-ups. They did a lot of that, like just camera close-ups that the, Italian directors did, just like the spaghetti westerns. it just gets a close up of her eyes, and it sits there for like 5-6 seconds sometimes,
And
and you're
Dino's
like,
just like, oh.
oh, what a pretty beauty.
He's
But
so
then,
pretty.
well, it kind of leaves kind of an effect on you to like feel sorry for her, and throughout the movie, you kind of do. I mean,
Well,
everything
isn't
she's going.
she's what you call
The point.
typecast. Isn't she always the damsel in distress?
Pretty much, yes,
I
yes.
mean, she's great at it,
Bloody Iris,
obviously.
that's
She's great
another
at it.
one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She is. But she plays Julie Ward, who's married to
Neil,
Neil Ward, who's kind of a political person, I think,
a
or
diplomat. He's a diplomat. He
yes, he's
works
a
at an
diplomat.
embassy.
Yes, like in Omen.
Yes,
He's after
yes.
Damien. That's a subplot of the movie.
Don't
No, it's
start.
not.
It's too early. Don't start.
I know. Not at all. Hey, strangers. Hey, Frank McLeod. What's going on? Hey, and everybody who left comments today. Oh, my God. Overwhelming.
I knew you
was
would
just-
be besieged because we love you, Dino.
Well, it was only like 5. There should be
Oh.
like 130 people in Discord. And 5 people left.
Well, perhaps
messages.
you should
But-
repeat. Perhaps you should repeat that right now.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling everybody. Listen. Listen. Rich Cat was one of them. There were people who left comments.
Vicky did.
Vicky Alcorn left.
I
about
did.
50 comments. I am not joking. 50 comments. Who
That's
did?
pretty darn good.
Yes, yes. Well, and Tiffany Lynn, who evidently in Discord sees messages and stuff that are posted in there, did. But I just want to push YouTube. We're coming up to Christmas. People are coming home. The channel does not get a lot of comments because everything is live streamed. People don't go back. And I just want to push it a little bit. And it's so important to leave comments. YouTube doesn't see them. They don't push it as much. It's just that's the way it goes.
I always say when we do these movie reviews, if you have questions that we didn't cover, if you have any comments about the movie,
or
let
just
us know.
say,
That's what
hey,
the comments for. And the thing
just say
about me and
APY.
Dino, the thing about me and Dino is we respond. Every one of your comments will get attention. Every one.
Except for today. They'll all get hearts.
care.
But yes, we do.
Cheers to you.
But listen, I was besieged with a few people who just did a whole mess of them. And thank you all to who did. And to the people who, and Connie Clary did. Yes, you did. Edward Stewart. Listen, a lot of people did too. Like Paul Ham left a couple. There were people. But it's hard, even still when I post it, to get people to comment. So the people who do, and if you're listening to this, I've been preaching that, Edward Stewart. Yeah. If you're listening to this, please, during the stream, after the stream, whenever you want, please.
If you're within the sound of our voices, please, for the love of all that's good.
I'm just going on.
And give find it in your heart.
And a thumbs up, please.
It's so simple.
Up, please. And
it does so much good.
Yes, and subscribe. And I'm hot. It's so hot in this. Yeah, here.
Dino just wanted an excuse to show us his guns today.
Oh, please.
He's like, can you see my biceps? Before we came on the show, he said, can you see my biceps? I said, yes, Dino, I can see your biceps.
Good story. Good story. That's why I'm still here. You are all are starting to be something big in my life, Zach Cato. Oh, man, that's awesome. See, listen,
very nice.
We're all family, man. Here is what I always say. So when I preach to you and say, please do this or that, I'm just asking.
That's just Dad down at the end of the table losing his temper at dinner every night, and it passes.
Yeah.
Okay, it's okay, kids. You go ahead and finish your dinner. Daddy just lost his temper for a second. It's okay.
Okay, but let's get back to this. Let's get on track here. Boom. So Edwig Fenech, married to Neil, who, and this becomes very complicated at the end, but you're also introduced to George Hilton again, who is teamed up with, and he's teamed up with Edwig Fenech in a lot of, in a couple other movies, I do believe. But he's also, if she's the female version of the Giallo Queen, is he the male version of the Giallo King. I don't know. He's in a lot of Giallo films, Italian cinema. But he plays George Coral, who's this
He's
suave.
yummy.
Oh, he's pretends. Listen, his quote in this movie that he tells Julie is, "My specialty is courting ladies
in front of their husbands."
In the presence of their husbands. So how awful is that, you prick? But listen, that's awful. But anyways, so you got him. You got. Listen, she calm down, man. It's hot. I had to take this long sleeve off. So George Hilton plays George Coral, suave, sophisticated man who's after Julie and gets what he wants, really. And
Don't say it like that. After her, he didn't. It wasn't like he was. He was very.
Did
charming.
you see the end of the movie?
Well, yeah, but
thank you very much.
We're not supposed to know that yet.
And we got Ivan Rassaman, who plays Jean. And he's the bad guy in the film. He's the guy who's coming after Julie because he had a relationship before she was married, I think. And
yes.
Yeah.
She
and
said she got married to get away from Jean.
Maybe we should have done The Omen 2 tonight. No. So yeah.
What is that? Something about the audience? Is it a small audience? Because I can't see anything.
Jean is the bad guy who man, and he's played the bad guy in a couple movies we've watched of these Giallo films, and he's just got that
face.
That face.
Got that face.
Cover girl face.
And there's villain face. He has villain face, and there's also douchebag face. There's always a guy who has a face that's just like, yeah, you're a douchebag.
Hey, CM. Yeah. Well, who's the douchebag face? Oh, Ivan is Jean. Right? Is
anyway, no.
Ivan the other people in the film?
No.
Peter?
Proceed, because there's like 50 people you need to introduce.
Well, I mean, listen, for me, that's there's the blonde who's her name's Carol Brandt. She's kind of Julie's
very
friend.
Pretty. She has a very nice look.
Oh, listen, Ginger. When she has the bath scene, if you were to ask me who are you going to ask out? Let's. Let me put it this way. She was a very beautiful woman with a very beautiful body, but she's the bad girl. Yes. Edward Fenwick is the good girl.
Yes.
And so two different women, they're both beautiful in their own ways. But man, listen, when I saw Carol Brandt, that blonde, and that, and it has nothing to do with being blonde. Believe me, that has nothing to do with it. She was, and she comes right out of the tub and just right in front of Julie. But that's the way things were, man. You knew. So what? It's a body.
Even to this day, Europeans are so much more okay with nudity than Americans. I mean, it's.
Listen, but the thing is, listen, they have had every Italian Giallo film that came out in this era, UK had a problem with. And they would either X-rate it or ban it, or you couldn't get access to it. And yes, the UK is kind of more open than we are when it comes to swearing and nudity. But I guess when it comes to the violence or the violent act of what goes on in some of these movies, that they're a little bit more strict. Oh, the police are coming. You hear that? Can the microphone pick that up? Nagon 11. What's going on? Good to see you here. NA not available. Gone 11. I'm trying to figure that out. Noggin, like the head noggin. You noggin. What's going on in there? And welcome, anyways. Good to see you. What are you drinking there? Apple juice, or is that wine? Is that a spritzer? Is that an ale? Is that a Christmas ale? Apple, I don't know what that is. But the Christmas tree looks better through it.
Oh, yeah, it's like a filter, because that Christmas tree is wow. That Christmas tree is like Hollywood.
So listen, those are the only
characters. It's so weird, though, because it doesn't look that bright. it just looks so bright on there.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Listen, it's all white, but
I mean,
anyways.
I can turn the camera away if it offends.
No, it looks
I can.
good. It's Christmassy. No, do it. To keep it in camera shot. Thank you very much, ma'am. Listen, so those are really the only characters I'm going to talk about. Towards the end, we get to the two doctors. If there's more you want to introduce, go ahead. Okay, so let's get started with this movie, man.
Well, the first thing in this movie is prostitutes. That's the first thing. Because it's a giallo. Yes. It's always prostitutes in a park. They have a park set aside just for prostitution.
And this is another movie where one of the victims goes into an Italian like public park area or something. Although it's got to be a private park. I don't know how it works over there. Okay. But if you're there before or after dark, they lock big gates that encompass this entire
and you're just
park.
Locked in for the night.
Yeah. And there's
it was
nothing
like
you
that.
can
That's
do.
the same as, isn't that the same as the movie with the woman who slept with her lover's head for like 10 years?
Yes. That's why I mentioned it.
The guy was from Philly. Remember the guy that got his head lobbed off? Well,
yes,
yeah.
I'll never forget that he's from Philly.
I won't let you. Anyway, what was that movie called? What was it called?
You're right. You're adjusting stuff down there. What's going on? You all right?
Yes.
Okay. So we got this. We open right up with the killer getting a victim, and it's a prostitute in the park, right? Isn't that what's going on? I love this park. There's women walking all around.
So the John Waxer with a knife, and I thought it was a knife, but it turns out it's not a knife. It's a
razor blade. Yeah,
it's a straight razor.
Straight razor.
Because everyone apparently all around the world just had straight razors back then.
Well, they did. It was kind of a big thing. You know, they were just coming out with the kind of like the Bic with the blades that would actually slide in. So it was a historical event, Ginger. Don't you know about blades?
So the ketchup that was spurting everywhere inside the car, I thought it was funny the way they made the blood look. It was like they had ketchup packets and they were just going. It was red, shiny. It was like, oh, okay, it's thick like ketchup.
Right. Well, honestly, Heinz ketchup.
Oh God, here we go. It's not even 8:30, Dino. Don't start.
They had a contract with a lot of the studios back in the day for the prop men to use his blood.
So I'm just going to let everybody read my notes while you go on. Next scene is this.
I don't know what hold it up. Instead of saying it, hold it up. That's her thing. Hey, Chris Zardoz.
Julie and Neil arrive at the airport, and we get our first view of the lovely Julie. Oh. She's coming down the escalator at the airport in Austria.
Listen, every one of those women coming down the escalator, what was it, a model convention? I mean, what's going on there?
Dino, we got to get you a girlfriend. I swear.
They all look beautiful.
If you're in the Cleveland area and you're single, ladies, look at those guns. Let's see those guns, Dino. Come on, let's see those guns.
Come on, let's go.
Let's see those guns. Just a quick one.
I'm not doing a gunshot. What am I? That's so egotistical. I'm not doing.
Pretend like you're Popeye. Well, you did that before we went on camera.
Okay, come on.
Pretend like you're Popeye.
Yeah. Come on. So
I'm strong.
Listen, we're gonna lose them all, man, Ginger. We're losing them all. Come on. Okay, so she's leaving the airport, and what happens next? When do we get to the scene? Because it's the big scene, and we've talked about this in the past, where they're raining.
The police stop the taxi. Her husband gets called away, so she has to make it home on her own. So she calls a taxi. And they're going on their way to where she and her husband live in Austria.
And she has a flashback,
beautiful
right?
Countryside.
Oh, beautiful rolling hills.
Oh, it's gorgeous there.
You know what I get there? I usually get my Lucky Charms from there.
No, that's Scotland or Ireland. No, you're in Austria.
Oh.
You would get your like Ricola and like stuff like that.
From Austria. Yeah, okay. You make. That sounds about right. And is
Okay,
this
so
when
the
she gets
police stop the taxi and they want a CID because there's a sex fiend. And Dino, why are they calling the killer a sex fiend? He's not a sex fiend.
I
The newspaper calls him a sex fiend. It's like, well, he doesn't do anything, and then he just murders them.
I think the fact that he's going after women and prostitutes, I think that alone. I mean, no, listen, profiling has changed since then. I mean, you want me to go in depth
No,
on?
no, I don't. I don't.
But it
Proceed.
was a whole. Listen, profiling was the thing. They think that the guy was just getting off by killing, so they call it they called him a sex fiend. Even though he didn't do sexual acts to them, he just whipped them and cut them. Ooh, a scene of
So then, yes, in the taxi,
Hedwig
Julie
Fenwick
flashes
getting in the
back.
shower. But go ahead, yeah.
In the taxi on the way home by herself, Julie flashes back.
Yes.
She's in the pouring rain, even though it's bright sunshine.
Yes, and
She
we talked
runs from
about this in a. Okay, go ahead.
She runs from the car and oops, he falls in the mud. And this
Oh, I
reminds me of
tripped.
another movie.
Oh, yes.
Oops, I tripped. And then a man comes running after her, and it looks like he's about to assault her. But then you realize that what he's doing, she's totally into it. He's extremely violent, but she digs it.
She digs it. It's a scene that was brought up in an earlier Giallo film that we talked about that incorporated a lot of different.
They were out in the rain and the guy rubbed the mud on his face.
Was it all the colors of the dark? I can't remember the name of the movie.
I forget.
But there were a lot of different aspects from other Giallo films that they incorporated, and this was one of them where it's just pouring rain, and he rips her sweater, and they're in the mud, and
he slaps her like 10 times. He slaps her. It's like, okay, dude.
I wish I remember the movie that we watched, because yes, the guy also in that movie was beating the heck out of her, and then they go back. It's the one. What happened to Solange?
What have you done? What have you done?
What have you done with Solange? That's the movie, because remember they were out. Anyways,
is that the one where he rubbed the mud on his face?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Weird. Yeah. Can you dig it? Anyways,
slaps her, and then they had violent, sexy time.
On
the ground in the mud.
Oh, really Mike Barrett, the editor. Thank you, buddy. It's the editor. That's the one.
Of all people we should have known, Mike Barrett would know. Thank you, Mike.
Well, and that makes the most sense. Listen, I've gone through so many Giallo films in the past couple months here that I'm like,
we have. I've gone through them too. Thank you.
But it's hard for me to retain some of the information. So
so then when Julie gets to her destination, she sees a car, and this car frightens her for some reason. And she asks if anyone has gone into her apartment in the last few minutes because of this car. And then I said, interior design, groovy mod, space age.
Groovy mod, space age. Just
and
like
it's the same apartment from that other movie.
Yes.
So she's about to take a bath, of course.
Oh yeah, listen, that was a big part of the movie. I loved it. She walks.
Sure you did.
She walks in the apartment. She gets undressed, and she just slowly walks. But in this movie, that happens quite a bit.
Yes.
And I'm
like,
I
know you didn't mind any of those times.
Well, listen, all the women are beautiful. They weren't doing it in a like a bad way. They were just getting undressed.
They just all happen to really like showers. That's all.
True. Yeah.
Or baths. In one case, bubble bath.
Frank McLeod says, "I like this guest of Dino's. He should really consider making her a mod on the channel."
Who's Frank? Who's Frank?
I don't know.
I
watched tons of these.
Cleode. Oh, I remember that guy. I think.
Yeah, MacLeod. Yeah, he's a MacLeod. He's I think he's Irish. Zach Cato,
maybe of the Clan MacLeod.
It could be. I watched tons of these movies, but I haven't seen this one. Going to have to find it for shits and giggles. Zach Cato, no, I wouldn't even say for shits and giggles. Ginger would, but I really enjoyed this.
I think you should see it. This one wasn't as terrible as others that we've watched.
How dare you?
It wasn't terrible. I would watch it.
Yeah, this
The
this
first
was
time
a
I would
really
recommend watching it. I would not watch it again.
this was a good one, Zach. And hello, Ruben Berlin. Square.
So,
Go on.
someone's persistently buzzing her apartment, and it's a bellboy, and he brings her flowers and her luggage. And the note, there's a handwritten note. It says it's from Jean, and she's disturbed by this, and she crumples up the note. And we're like, okay, who's this Jean?
Right, because the history is, and throughout the movie, she constantly gets flowers from Jean, and everybody knows that it's her ex-lover. And
there's always the handwritten note, which I think is another Giallo thing. There's always a note.
well, listen, this was 1971. People wrote notes. They didn't text people or send them
But
telegrams.
not every movie has people just writing notes all the time. Giallos do, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is top tier Giallo. It's
In terms of following the formula, yes.
yes, it's up there. I really enjoyed this film, but they everybody knows that Jean is the evil guy in her life. Although, again, she had this relationship with him that was consensual. That they
Yes.
may have been a little rough, and
But she obviously liked it.
but it's also something that throughout the movie, knowing her character, it's weird that she gave in to him. I mean, eventually leaving him, but was that something 100% consensual, or was she with a person that just abused her and she just, just went along with
No,
it?
I
But then
think she was
couldn't-
into it.
Okay, well, it was
But
quite
I think
odd.
that she
That's all.
started to recognize that it was very dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, it was getting pretty brutal. It was getting dangerous, and I think she thought, I got to get out of this lifestyle. I'm going to die.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, there's a scene where they flash back to another
And
lovemaking.
he cuts her beautiful flesh.
Oh, in this scene, yeah, they flash back to another kind of, lovemaking scene or sexual act.
Yeah.
And he's doing the same thing. He's tearing her clothes off, throwing her down on the mattress. And this is where you get a glimpse of where he's staying right now, which is an odd place, which we would talk about, but ends up breaking a bottle, and glass just like explodes and
All
falls
over
on
her.
Yeah, all on her body. And then when he's on top, I know this is a little graphic, but rated R, please close your eyes.
It's
I
like
mean,
a facial, but with glass.
wow.
When women put so stupid.
Okay, so continuing. Hey, Anonymous. No, I get you, facial with the cleansing of the pores and all that stuff. Tomo, now we're talking. So even Ginger got a little red, I think. Boy. So listen, yeah. The glass just like I was going to say splattered, but okay, we need to get past this, I think. That's what we need to do. Good to see you, Anonymous.
Okay, so the next scene is they're at this party, and there's girls dancing and ripping each other's clothes off at this party, and everybody's just
you went through that so quickly. You need to learn how to slow down, baby. You need to.
She crumbles up the note. What?
Listen. Well, there's a lot.
We were talking about stuff that is out of sequence. I'm just getting us back into sequence,
but
sir.
You went all through this party and straight to the ripping off of the clothes and wrestling, and that's towards the end of this whole scene. There's a whole setup in the scene where Julie comes over to Carol's place for a party, and they're enjoying themselves, and it's her way of getting away from. She's stuck with Neil, this diplomat, and she's with him for comfort after being with Jean, who kind of was a very rough relationship. So she's at the party with Carol. This is where she meets George. Yeah, who was played by George Hilton, George Hilton. And this is where their connection starts, because listen, everybody's linked to the very end of this film. So you need to know how they met, what are the circumstances around it. And then you'll know at the end of the movie. But listen, she meets him there.
It's
And
so convoluted. Why does it always have to be so complicated?
I don't know. Listen, it makes for interesting thinking throughout the film for what's going on, who could possibly be the killer. I mean, they knew how to do it. I know it's not your thing. I get it.
They
You want
do
things
too much. They do too much.
yeah, you want things being listen, you love Blowout, which is a 10 out of 10 for you and me both. So there was a lot of things going on there where you're like, they just do it in a different way. Blowout was a little bit more thriller driven. This is more, I almost wouldn't even call this horror, although it is classified horror, because I would say crime thriller, but Giallos, you kind of classify in the horror kind of a genre. But anyways, at the party, she meets George.
What would make it horror? Is it not horror because it's not supernatural? I mean,
well, no, there's
why would it not be horror? Guys going around killing women. Why is it not horror?
Listen, that's kind of a subplot in this film that through the first half, there is a killer going around killing women. And most of the women being killed, again, are from this party.
Mm.
So why the victims from this party are being killed, I'm not sure, because the killer, when we find out who he is, really has nothing to do with the group of people. Okay, should I not say nothing? I know. Stop. Hold back.
Because you said anyway. Killer. You said killer.
Okay. Okay. So listen. Okay. So we're back at the party. She meets George, and he's
immediately attracted to her.
Oh, and he's pushing himself though too. He's pushing himself. He's very forward, and she evidently likes it and adores it. And it's Carol's cousin. Mm-hmm. So she's kind of pushing it too. Hey, yeah, go do your thing. Hey. She knows.
She tells her that you can't get everything you need from one man. And I was like, oh, the scandal.
Oh,
my
yeah.
Goodness.
She made that point, which made Carol Brandt, the blonde, a bad girl. She was a very bad girl.
A bad girl.
I wonder if she's free on Friday. So anyways, during all of this, she ends up seeing, Jean, and she's like, why did you bring him to the party, Carol? And just freaks out because she wants nothing to do with him.
And she just leaves. She just walks out. She just leaves. No purse, no coat. She just walks out.
But then, right, just takes off. She's just so horrified by him, which I understand. But
because he has that creepy face. He's so creepy.
Oh, I know he is. Listen, Ivan Rasimov is the actor's name. When you see his face, you go, "Whoa, what are you doing? What are you doing?"
He looks like a villain.
Yeah, he's a villain all the way. If he was in a Bond film, you would go, he's the guy doing the bad stuff. But now we get to the part in this party that's going on that I thought was very interesting. There's two girls dancing on the floor.
No, Dino, that the girls dancing came before Jean showed up. But go ahead.
That's what I'm saying. We got that out of the way. Now let's jump to the part that really don't mean nothing, but was a very interesting scene because of what they did. It's like out of nowhere, there's two girls dancing at this party, which I said, now that John and Julie are out of the picture here, let's jump back. See, we're jumping back in the scene. She's got like a silver kind of shirt. It looks like something you could, evidently a guy goes up and just rips it off. Real simple, just rips it off. And they laugh.
He knew it was made out of paper. I don't know how he knew that it was made out of paper, but it was.
It could be, yes. It could be that they did that on purpose for the party's sake. I don't know. But for some reason, yes, he tears it off, and there's two girls kind of with different color ones, and they end up both going at it like a cat fight. Meanwhile, Julie, Carol, and George, they're all laughing because these two girls are cat fighting, tearing their clothes off, and they literally get down to the ground, pulling everything off even right before the scene cut, I think Sergio said, "Go a little bit longer, a little bit longer." They pull the panties down.
Was your daughter watching this?
She's 18. It doesn't listen. She understands all of this stuff. One thing with my daughter is I've been so open with her with everything and talking about things, and she understands horror movies. It's not a shock value, that's for sure. But
so they rip each other's clothes off, and they're rolling around on the
weird.
floor, and everyone's
Yes,
standing
it's
around.
rolling,
This is so funny.
rolling around on the floor. Yeah, I mean, it was just something at the party and in the scene that was just odd. That's all I can say. It's like,
Did they
wow.
really have parties like that? Is what I'd like to know. I guess they really did.
I'm sure they did. I'm sure there were worse than that. There's all kinds of parties out there. But yeah, we'll just keep talking about the movie.
Okay, so
listen, don't get me started, RTN. I don't think I've said too many so far.
I said one. You're a bad influence, sir.
Yeah.
So this is the scene where are we done talking about the whole paper dress thing that they ripped each other's clothes off?
Yes, the party's finished. The party's finished. That's so 10 years ago.
Okay, so then this is when Jean leaves the party and Julie's standing there and she flashes back to her and John when he breaks the wine bottle and the glass falls all over her. And then he cuts her and cuts her the whole way down her chest and she's bleeding. And then they just start going at it. It's crazy.
Yeah, we just talked about this like 10
And I
minutes
said,
ago.
oh, she likes pain. Well, you're going out of order. So she wakes up Neil, and Neil wants to know what the nightmare was about, and she won't tell him. And you see that their marriage is not great.
Yeah,
like they're not
right.
close.
Yeah, not in that way, not in a sexual way. Their marriage is, again, for comfort, I think. And
he cares about her, but they're just not.
Oh, he does. Oh, yeah. Her, yeah, it's just a comfort thing, but whatever. But she ignores him because he goes, Julie, was it Jean?
Tell me, Julie.
Was it Jean in your dream?
Did he say that? I don't think he said that.
Yes, it was. He said, he said, was it Jean? And she ignored him. And he just rolled over and said, oh.
So then the girls from the party who was wearing the paper dress, she comes home wearing this fabulous floor-length trench coat. I love that trench coat that she's wearing. It's gorgeous. It's like something out of the Matrix, but it's white.
Nice. Yes,
so
I love it
she
too.
has to take a shower.
Ooh, mama.
So she just comes home from this wild party she was at, and she immediately wants to take a shower, and you see black gloves picking her lock with a knife.
No.
And of course, he pulls out a straight razor, and this is the worst kill scene I've ever seen him on. The acting in this was like, were they just practicing? Are they in school still? The acting was so bad.
Yeah, this scene, the acting, at least for the woman that was getting killed, the death scene was not the best acting.
It was lackluster.
Listen, it was the Brian De Palma film. The actor, Dressed to Kill. Thank you very much, Ginger.
You're welcome.
Dressed to Kill. It was kind of like that, where she was in the shower scene and they were editing the sound, or was that Blowout, where they were editing the sound of the scream in the the shower, and it was
that was
Blowout. Okay, so there you go. Hey,
that's
Linda
what he
Bear.
did. He was a sound guy.
Yeah, hey, Linda Bear. Hey, we eventually get it out. It's.
Oh, did you see that comment from that guy on one of our movie discussions where he said, "I like Americans, but you take forever to get to the point," or something like that? I thought that was so funny.
I don't know.
And I replied, "Cool story, bro."
I don't even know what that really meant.
I don't know. It was just like, okay, and
yeah, because
now that you've seen our show and you know how we do, It's up to you now.
Well, listen, some of the comments, the people might not even watch the film. They just see the titles and they go in there and comment. There's a lot of people like that. They just like to sit there and just.
Well, you know what? At least they're commenting. We can say that.
True, true. Did I say
Because
listen
we
again?
appreciate all comments.
Linda, listen. Of course, it's not nominated for an Academy Award. First of all, it would.
He doesn't even know it.
It would be nominated for a foreign film at the time, but because it is an Italian film. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was nominated for something at the time, because it was a very good movie. Ginger Grimaces.
It was scandalous. First of all, it was scandalous back then.
You know what'll help that, Ginger? Gas X.
He's so ignorant. I can't stand you. I swear I can't stand you.
Oh, come on. You love it. Anyways, so yeah, so Carol is still trying. Are we at that point now? I gotta go back to your notes. Where are we at?
The really bad acting in the death scene, and then we see Julie and her friend, the blonde. What was her name?
Carol.
They're shopping. They buy a newspaper, and it says another girl was murdered, and they're laughing about it. And Carol says to Julie, we should be grateful he's eliminating all our competition. I was like, ew.
Yeah, listen, the bad girl. Listen, I'm telling you that this lady was nominated
she was
for
a bad girl.
She was the best bad girl. Oh, did we get to the bath scene yet? Nominated for the most fabulous trench coat. Yeah, sure. What's the movie this Friday? Yes, this Friday, for those who have stayed on as channel members and Patreon, for those who have stayed on, it is Black Christmas from 1974. Yes.
I've never seen it. I can't wait.
Oh my God, you're in
I'll
for a
bring
treat.
the popcorn.
Okay, it's one of the best. Listen.
I can't wait. I'm excited.
I'm going to put that in the title to all our streams now. Listen. So yes, again, if you're not,
and everybody who comments, you reply with "listen" and then whatever.
Right. Oh yeah, and Saturday, the night after, which is kind of a, helps along for the trivia night. We'll have Black Christmas trivia, done by Edward Stewart. So he got me some questions, and exactly one of the best. Yep, it is one of the best Christmas horror films. I love Christmas.
So where were we?
Well, I don't know. They went shopping, and then don't they go back to her apartment and she takes a bath?
I wanted to say that Carol's driving is very chaotic. She's looking, and they're on these winding roads in the mountains in Austria. And it's like, keep your eyes on the road. This is when Julie says,
"You got me stopping." When I say I'm getting ready to say the L word, I stop. Okay, I almost said that word again. But we will come to find out that a lot of people driving in this film I don't know
chaotic.
If that's a daily. Yeah, very chaotic, especially when we get to George on the motorcycle. But we'll talk about it.
So this is when Julie says she only married Neil to get rid of Jean, and Carol says you need more than one man. And then she gets home from the shopping trip, and the handsome cousin is waiting for her, George. And this is when he tells them, my specialty is courting ladies in front of their husbands.
Oh, you wrote it down. Yeah, look at that. Yeah.
You mentioned it, so don't act like it didn't make an impact on you too, sir.
Oh, no, it did. Yeah, he was but again, she was fine with it.
Yes.
He's very handsome.
Well, he was very handsome.
He is a man.
And he acted very charming in the beginning. I would have been charmed too.
For 2 minutes, he acted charming.
Okay.
God. And then he was soon after a misogynistic a-hole who had bits of charm to him.
She said that she tells her friend she doesn't like George because she thinks he's irresistible. And this is when the movie starts becoming kind of
Scrumptious.
like a soap opera, quite frankly, where he asks to see her and she agrees to see him. But while they're together, she has her back to him and she's like, we shouldn't be seeing each other right now. And it's like, oh, what is this? One life to live? It's like a soap opera.
There was a little bit in the middle there when that was going on, and yes, it was very soap opera like, and and, I mean, not in appearance, but what the relationship, like what was going on, like he really wanted to see her. And listen, there's a scene when they do get together outside of that apartment of George's, that I just got to talk about. It is another
Wait.
scene.
You
You know what I'm
Let's talk
talking
about
about,
when we
right?
get there. Yes, let's talk about when we get
Okay.
there.
Okay, go in order. 8:48.
So they're the three of them go out and have dinner. Explain this to me. The three of them go out and have dinner. George and his cousin Carol and
Yeah.
Mrs. Wardh, Julie,
Yeah.
who's Carol's friend.
Right.
And there's an apple at the table. And he carves a G into the apple and he says, so when you eat this apple, you'll think of me. I was like, what? What was that?
Just a perverted,
I don't know what that was.
It's apple. It's he carved it in an apple. He said something about Adam or Eve. He said something to mention about that. The forbidden fruit. His name's on there, and she immediately does take it though, and she just chomps into it, and he goes, see, So it's something sexually toned, but I don't know.
It was stupid. It was pointless and stupid. We could have done without it.
Yes, I agree.
So then now we're on the scene you were talking about on the motorcycle, George's motorcycle with more chaotic driving. They're not wearing helmets.
Yeah, he takes her away because Carol had to leave unexpectedly. And she said, take me home. Just take me home. And like any man, he disregards anything she says. I was just being stupid there. Not like any man. I'm trying to make a point that this dude's an a-hole. She asked to go home, and he says, get on my bike. I'm taking you for a ride. You want to go home? I'll take you home. And he's like whipping through the hills, and he's nearly missing cars. He's going 100 miles an hour, nearly missing cars. Just winding. It's just, I'm looking at this going, how is that guy not dead? What is going on?
And she's okay with it. I'd be like, if you don't slow this thing down now.
Because he was forcing her to do whatever he wanted. Again,
see, ladies, Dino's one of the good guys. Listen to this man. He's one of the good guys. Listen, if you're in the Cleveland area and you're single,
dial 555-555-5555.
Dino, 555 Dino.
Okay, so listen.
99 cents a minute.
Oh, geez. There's a racket. But he's whining through. He's doing all the wrong things and everything, and
she likes it though.
Well, most of the time she looks aggravated, but then you'll get glimpses where the camera's showing her smiling.
Yeah.
And then I'm like going.
But it's like you said, it's either that or she's just trying to keep the peace. She's like, hey, this is great. We're gonna die.
But he eventually takes her home.
Yes.
But the next day. Are we at the scene where
George calls and then suddenly he's at her apartment? How did he do that? George calls her and then he's at her apartment and he tells her that he's in love with her.
Right, because she rushed up to her apartment and she left the door unlocked, and he's talking to her on the phone because this
acting.
This is acting.
Acting is so bad.
Well, listen, when you know the ending of the movie, you will understand why he's everywhere he is throughout the movie.
Yes, but the acting is still terrible.
For who?
That scene was bad.
Okay. But yeah, no, so they just they just get together, but he has to leave. But soon after that,
she goes to George's place and they completely disrespect his couch.
Well, and listen, this scene I do want to talk about because I looked at this scene. Okay, so she's at George's house, and he gets her on the couch. And listen, they're in a romantic environment, and he's not being rough or nothing. They're just making love. But the scene has, and listen, I'm going to be graphic because I've never seen this in a film other than an adult film. I never watched those, but you know, it seemed like an adult film because. And if you're looking at it as in a rating standard, I can see where that would get an X rating because she
Absolutely.
was laying on George Hilton. We're talking actors' names now, okay? So the actress Edwig Fenwick and George Hilton, and I say Fenwick because I believe that's the true way to say the last name.
It seems like it should be.
A lot of people say Fenwick or
I don't think
Fenwick,
it's Fenwick.
but I say Fenwick, Edwig.
Mm.
But she's laying on top of George Hilton, the actor. The director, Sergio Martino, is filming this. They're
From
doing,
above.
yes, from above. They're doing the act. She is literally, and there's no mistaking what's going on. I'm not saying there's any, we're all adults here of penetration or nothing like that. But she's literally rubbing, and you've seen the same thing I did, rubbing, and they don't move the camera from that, rubbing in a circular motion over and over and over again. And I'm like going, and then he kind of, oh God, I can't be any more descriptive than that.
He grabs some fistfuls of her flesh for sure.
And pulls apart the flesh, and you can see something. And I'm like going, how did that pass the censors? Uh-oh. And again, this is an adult channel. We are adults here. We can discuss adult things. If you don't like it, you can leave, I guess, and come back. But I have to mention that because I'm like, how the hell? Graphic? Jeez. Okay, see, right? Listen, no, there was no mistaking that. And I'm like, wow, brown chicken, brown cows. Yum. Okay, so that takes place and she ends up leaving. But anyways, yeah. Well, no, the killer, who you think's the killer comes up, looks in the window at them. I think it's John, but the red herring throughout the movie, or no, not the red. I ain't even saying that. Who the hell knows who the killer is at this point?
So her husband is very busy and he's completely uninterested in her.
These movies that just make it so hard to talk about because they're so graphic and so.
This one was very graphic. This one was
and so sexually over emphasized.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That only adults can talk about this. And I hope people understand that our discussions, even though we concentrate on some of these scenes like that, because they stand out.
Well, it's an important scene in the movie. I mean, it is.
Yeah. But how many, there's a lot of people who are just like, listen, I don't want to hear about this. So, but it is what it is. So
let's move on then.
Yes.
Someone's
if you remember
watching,
where you were at.
Her husband's busy. Someone watches her husband leave, and you see black gloves. They call Julie, and they blackmail her 20,000 shillings, or he'll tell her husband about George Coro.
20,000 shillings.
And why is it shillings if they were in Austria? I thought it would be like marks or something.
Who knows?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Trying to blackmail.
So he tells her to meet. Yes, he tells her to meet him at a park, and she tells Carol.
He gets his, or she gets, she. Listen. No, don't. Listen. I'm trying not to say it.
Thanks a lot, Dennis. Now you're making him all verklempt.
No, I've got to try not to say that word so many times. It's almost like when somebody says,
If you stop saying it, I'm going to start saying it.
Okay.
That's your thing. You do your thing.
So Julie,
you're just the way you are, Dino. You're special. You're special, Dino.
Thank you. So Julie somehow gets Carol to go meet this unknown
She doesn't
caller.
get Carol to. Carol wants to. Carol tells her, no, I'll go.
listen, the dumbest move ever. I don't even understand it.
And
Why
she goes to
Carol?
this park, and it's very creepy because there's nobody around. It's a beautiful park,
But the
but it's
call
creepy.
also, let's point this out. The caller,
Mhm.
again, even though to me sounded like a man, didn't sound like
Mhm.
anybody disguising their voice or anything. But they went on to mention it. It was somebody. It could have been a man or a woman, is what Julie said to the police or to whoever she said it
Mm.
to. And I was going, what? That plainly was nobody. That was just a man talking on a phone. It was no covering up the voice or going like this or it. Anyways, I don't know why that stood out to me. I don't understand why they said that. But then Carol's at the park. She's going to do this without any police or nothing. She's going to go do it. Good for her.
But
Good
you
for
know
her.
what? At the end of the movie, I think by the end of the movie, I
She
started
did
thinking
take a. Go ahead.
maybe she did that on purpose because she was more involved in this than we knew. And she wanted to know, well, who is this person who thinks that they like, she wants to know who is it? So she wants to go so she can figure out, you know, that she's involved in this whole thing. And so somebody's trying to blackmail her. Well, who is it? I want to know who this other person is who knows everything.
Hey, what's that mean, Anonymous? I'm going for a beer, so I reckon I will be on the naughty list soon. Oops, sorry. What's that mean? You can go and leave as you come, whatever you feel. I don't even know what that means. But have a good beer, enjoy yourself, and hopefully you're not on the naughty list anytime soon.
And feel
Uh,
free to just come back whenever you want. You don't have to announce it. Just come back whenever you want.
there you go. Listen, do wanna know a secret? Anyways, okay, go on.
So Carol's at the park, and the groundskeeper tells her, "The park closes at sunset."
Well, no, it's funny how that happens because she's sitting in this very, very wide angled
Mhm.
shot of the park, and this little guy on the scene, the video, you can see him walking by from a distance, and he goes, "Park closing soon." It's like, okay,
And he says, "If
okay,
you don't leave, you'll get locked in
you
for the
locked
night."
in. I'm going to have a shot and enjoy this. Enjoy
So
Zach
then
Hale.
you see black gloves again because it's a Giallo movie. You see those black gloves. There's someone watching Carol.
Yes.
The park employee groundskeeper. She says, "Where's this house that she's supposed to meet this person?" And if she was supposed to meet the person there, why is she sitting in the park? And so the
I
groundskeeper tells her to hurry so she doesn't get locked in, but she's still just casually strolling. I'm like, he just said that if you don't hurry up, you're going to get locked in here. And she's just casually strolling through the park.
Well, the park looks like it's this like acres upon acres of wooded area, park, walkways, buildings, and I don't even think she's where she's supposed to be because
She's not.
yeah,
That's why
so
she had to ask the groundskeeper, can you tell me where some German
Pen
name,
yeah,
Hundeplatz
Pembroke
or something?
yeah, something house. I don't
Mhm.
know. And she asks him, and through there you can see that she's being followed, but then guy raking leaves comes out and goes, "Oh, hello there, how you do? Like goodbye, yeah, what you do, huh? I rake leaves." Then yeah,
So this is
so
another badly acted scene. The razor, the black gloves, he comes up behind her and slices and dices, and she's screaming, "Ah!" And then the groundskeeper and a bunch of people come over just in
oh, when she
time
gets
to
killed.
watch her die. Yes.
Because you just flip right to that, and we might as well because it's 9 o'clock.
Yeah, I
Um,
know.
do you really?
Yeah, I do.
You're watching the time?
So the groundskeeper and a bunch of other people come and they see that she's dead. And then we meet Great Value brand Pacino, the commissioner.
Great. What?
Great Value brand Al Pacino, because he kind of looks like a bargain brand Al Pacino in the face.
Oh, he does. He does a little bit lighter hair, a little different look, but yeah, I
He
got
speaks
okay.
to Jean, the villain, who's like Ace Ventura. I said, this guy is Ace Ventura with an apartment full of exotic animals in cages. What the hell? What is that?
So we come to find out that Jean, the bad guy, lives in this, yeah, whatever it
He's
is.
like,
I don't even know. I don't even know what it is. Is it a house, a residence, or is it a business type place?
it's where
Anyways,
he
it doesn't
lives. I
matter.
don't know. He lives there.
But yeah, but they get to this room or this area where he's got all kind. He's got a bat. He's got a iguana. Yeah, a bunch of animals, and I'm just like, what the hell are all? I mean, listen, I understand, but yeah, that was a little weird. That was a little weird. But yeah, continue on.
So the commissioner and Jean and Julie speak,
Stir pipe.
and the commissioner brings Jean and Julie in and speaks to them in his office at the same time, knowing
Yes.
their history.
Yes.
Like it's normal for the cops to put the accuser and the man who's accused of being a slasher in the same room together, because she's like, he did it. This is the kind of thing he's into. He did it. And he's like, no, I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
Well, and he does have, I think he has an alibi a little bit.
He does,
later
because
on.
that was, yes. The commissioner ignores Jean's, Jean says something weird and the commissioner ignores it. And he goes on casually questioning Julie like, I kept thinking, shouldn't he be speaking to her privately? Why is he talking to her right in front of the guy that she is saying is the mad slasher who's killing women? Shouldn't he separate them?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
So then John tells the police officer, the commissioner, that Julie has a blood fetish.
Yes. Yes. So yes, they go into deep discussion on that a little bit. Well, not really. They just for a second they
leave. Then he lets them leave.
And it's funny and this will come up at the end. Again, I'm trying not to give anything away, but as she's leaving the police station,
her husband comes.
She's leaving with Jean.
Yeah, they leave at the same time.
And George passes them
because he's next to be questioned. Yeah.
At the same time, as she walks by and Jean leaves, Neil comes in, greets Julie. So there's all four of them right there in that hallway, and you guys are like going, well, so, but if you watch the movie, it's like right there is everything is right there. But anyways, continue.
So George wants to speak to Julie's husband. He said he wants to take her away, and she says not until they catch the killer.
You know what? He can't take her away though. The only thing that can take a woman away
is Calgon.
It's Calgon. Thank you.
And then I said, I bet George is the killer. There was something about him when they met. He was very creepy. And I said, I bet you he's the killer. We'll find out.
About him.
So Julie goes and parks underground, and someone's watching her in the underground parking garage.
The underground what?
Parking garage.
Oh, yes.
Very intense scene.
Well, all this time, though, she's been parking out front. People taking her baggage up, when she's come back. Always parking out front on the street.
But suddenly she wants to park down in the dark parking garage.
Well, Sergio Martino, the director, he said, how do we get down to the garage? And she goes, hey, let me park down there. Take the elevator. So that's what happens. And while they're down there, there's a whole mess of Connie Hilton's there. Hey, Connie Hilton, thank you for all the comments today. Also did about 30 or so. So thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yay for comments. COMMENT. CO. Okay. So she's down there, and yes, like you said, I'll let you describe it. You're better at it. I'm kind of in a restful mood this evening.
Someone's watching the lights go out. A car flashes its lights.
In Georgia. This does not take place in Georgia.
For some reason, she can see the elevator, but the lights from this car flashing its headlights, she just can't make it over to the elevator. I'm like, what do you, the lights are keeping you from walking over to the elevator?
Well, it's pretty dark. I mean, everything is black.
She knows where the elevator is. She sees it, and she just stands there because.
Well, anyway. I know. I would immediately book to the elevator is what I would do.
So the car takes off. So who was in the car? Somebody else, I don't know. So the car takes off, and leaves. You see the car leaving the garage, but then you see the black gloves and the straight razor when she
Could
gets
have
to
just
the
been
elevator.
somebody. Yeah, could have just been somebody leaving the apartment and just coincidence that all the electricity goes off and somebody's leaving. But lights went on in a few different vehicles, and I don't think that had anything to do with the killer because the killer couldn't be in all of these places at one time. So that doesn't make any sense.
But if you think about the end of this movie, when we find out that it was kind of like Scream, where there
Oh,
was
yes,
more
okay.
than one killer.
Okay. You're right. If all okay, yes. Woo! Almost
And I
let
said,
that
if it
out of
was
the
me, I would
bag.
have just taken the stairs. So she gets away. She hides in the car. And I said, at this point, I think that's George. It was a man. He was tall and lean like George. I said, I think that's George. She drives her car to the elevator. She drives a car over to the elevator. Instead of driving out of the parking garage, she drives the car over to the elevator and gets out and goes into the elevator. And just as the doors are about to close, a black glove comes in and she beats it and she says, no.
Well, her thought was, and I get it, you're right. Her thought was, let's drive as close to it as I can and run into the elevator and get up there.
Instead of just leaving, you have a car.
I know, I would have
He's
left.
on foot. Why would you just not leave?
And what you could see him at times right before the lights went out, you could see his figure move away. So throughout the film too, you also do get the image of the killer, somewhat like the last movie, the Red Queen dies 7 times, kills 7 times. You see the killer,
Yeah.
but you can't 100%
Mm-hmm.
say for certain. Oh, that
Yes.
is who, you
They
know.
show you the face and you think,
Yeah,
you can see the
yeah,
face, but
yeah. But yeah, she should have run out, but yeah, ends up
so she tells her husband, she gets up to the apartment and she tells her husband, and he gets out his teeny tiny little gun and he says he's going to go get Jean.
yeah, he gets his little teeny tiny gun out and he goes, I'm gonna put a cap in his ass. I mean, he says that, and I'm like going for 1971. He says
So she goes with
line like
she
that.
tells her husband, you're not leaving me here, I want to go with you. So they drive over to Jean's house and she sees his car. Jean's car is there. Neil tells her, you wait in the car, I'm going to go handle this, you sit in the car. I'm like, there's a murderer on the loose and she thinks that you're at that murderer's house and you tell her, you just stay in the car.
Yeah, I wouldn't be left in the car. I wouldn't be left in the
So
car.
she
And
catches up with
doesn't.
him at the door and the door is open and they go in and the lights
Can I
don't
say
work.
something real quick?
Nope.
When she goes up the elevator to and Neil's there and she's pounding on the door to get back in her when the killer's after her in the garage. She gets in there and Neil looks at the person. There's somebody, you think the killer's coming up the steps. Killer's coming up the steps. And there's this little guy comes over and he goes,
Oh yeah. The elevator's always
limping.
out of order.
Yeah, he said something about this is
A walk up.
yeah, this is a walk up or something like that. But I thought that was, oh geez, I'm belching. I thought that was
Comic
funny.
relief. It was comic relief.
Comic relief is what it was. Yes, precisely. So yes, they're at they're at Jean's place, and they go in there. All the lights are off. They can't get it on, and it's so spooky. And they've got a lighter though. Hey, they've got a lighter. So let's enter the building, and I think we'll find our way through. And it was stupid when they got to the room with all of the animals that jump scare after jump scare. I mean, the third one was a little old. Come on. Oh my God, the bat. Ah! Oh my God, the iguana. Ah! I mean, come on. Let's get real. Right, Ginger?
What was he doing with all those animals? Why does he have all those animals?
I mean, Ginger. I mean, like, come on. You know what I mean? Like,
I hear you, Dino. I hear you.
You hear what I'm saying?
I hear you.
I mean, one, okay, but two, but three. I mean, geez. Ugh.
It makes no sense.
So is this where she sees
This is where they find the camera and he says, a camera, one shot has been taken from this camera.
Oh,
and then we find
very
Jean,
coincidentally he finds that camera.
Yes. Jean is dead in the bathtub. It looks like the bathtub is dripping and he's in the bathtub and there's blood everywhere. He's dead.
So Jean is dead. Yes. The bad guy. The a-hole in the film is dead.
But then when they go back outside, his car is gone.
Oh, foreshadowing.
Yes, because that
For
means
reals, though.
someone else is involved.
For reals, though. But
Yes.
listen.
And there's a bouquet of flowers in the car.
Yeah, another note, and Neil
Mhm.
throws it down, and why he's so angry when Julie isn't looking at him because he's in on it. But anyways, good. Oh shoot! I blew it. We got 15 minutes. I nearly blew it.
So he takes the photo to the police, and this is when I thought, okay, so he takes her with him to go to the murderer's house, but when he's going to the police, he leaves her at home. It makes no sense. He takes the photo, he got the photo developed, and you can see the villain. And he takes it to the police, and he leaves her at home, and she immediately calls George. And
Yes,
says,
because
come get
George.
me, let's go away, I'll go away, because he's been asking her to go away with him, and she said no. But now she's like, I'll go away with you now. And he
Yes,
says,
and
I know
this
a
is
place
where.
in Spain.
Oh yeah, look at him, Mr. Suave and sophisticated.
International lover.
But before they go to Spain, something happens in the movie that changes everything. Aren't we at the point of the killer? Or is that
Not
after?
yet. So Julie left a note for Neil. And then, yes, you come home. A woman comes home. Looks like she's a stewardess.
Yes. She comes to her apartment, and for some reason, the killer is after her, the black loved killer, and enters the room and chases her all around. And this is where you kind of get a glimpse of his full-on face.
Mm-hmm.
And this stewardess, or whoever she is, I don't know.
I think she's a stewardess.
She puts a dagger right through his heart and kills him.
Yes.
And you're like, the killer is dead.
Yes, that was it. The killer's dead.
Yes. So
the next scene, it's funny because she plunges a knife into his chest, and the next scene is George and Julie snorkeling in Spain and spearfishing.
yes. The way to connect the dots. But yeah, it's where the Giallo part of the film ends for you, in a way, because the killer, like in any other Giallo, ends up dead and is out of the picture. So as they're vacationing in Spain, things still start to happen. There's a black-gloved killer who ends up kind of like shooting this spear
gun,
at her while
but
she
nobody
was
else noticed. I mean, it seemed like nobody else even noticed.
roaming the streets. Yeah. I can't find a compelling reason to see this film. CM, listen, you're supposed to watch the film before, but listen, you're going to get a whole different vibe when you watch it on your own. I would guess. We try to discuss it and talk about it exactly like the movie's flowing along, but it's hard to put pictures to words.
So right after she's told that they read in the
This movie
newspaper
has
that
everything in
Jean
the
is
kitchen
dead.
sink in it. Go ahead.
After they read that Jean, who she thinks was the killer, when they find out that he's dead, she goes to her car and a kid brings her a bouquet. Right after she hears that John is dead.
And it still says Jean on it.
Yes.
So I think they're like trying to set, well, okay. I think the whole thing is to set her up to kind of be like she's losing her mind.
Yes, they said that she had a nervous breakdown. I said, when did she have a nervous breakdown? She goes home alone, of course. I'm sure she'll be fine, I said. She hears something like dripping water, just like when they found John.
You said that during the movie, and you said, what did you say?
I don't know. I'm lost. Okay. I don't know.
Because I'm like,
so there's blood on the floor. She hears dripping, and there's blood on the floor. And
this was, well, not this scene, but later on when she wakes. Anyways, yeah. Oh my God, we got to wrap it up in 10 minutes. So yeah, is it blood on the floor? But anyways,
or is it like rust? It could be rust.
It looks like a bathtub behind shower curtains, kind of.
It's a radiator. It's like a radiator.
But you don't know that until they pull the curtains. It could be a tub because she's getting a flashback of Jean being in the tub with the blood flowing over and dripping on the floor. So that's
I
what's
like it when
triggering it.
she gets up and she sees shoes under the curtain, just like on Scooby-Doo. There's shoes poking out of the curtain. And she goes over to the curtain and opens it, and there's nobody there. It's just the shoes, and she beats the wall. I was like, this
Well,
is just like Scooby.
Zoinks, Scoob. Listen, that is right after her falling and collapsing because out of shock from the dripping water that she thinks is dripping blood or whatever.
And her husband goes and gets a doctor, and he gives her a shot.
Yes, and puts her to sleep, and she ends up sleeping for who knows how long. And then when she does come to, George is out getting another doctor of psychology, a psychologist.
And this is when he says blood excites and repels her at the same time.
Yeah, so and he's trying to explain why, but while he's going and getting the psychiatrist, this is where the whole twist starts to happen. And you're like, what the hell is going on here? But who comes in?
Jean.
And he put, he puts whatever you put over the mouth. Chloroform to put over the mouth. And drags her into the kitchen. And I like how he tapes up the window to keep what he's going to let gas out to
make it look like she's committing suicide.
Yes. And he puts her fingerprints even on the tape. He goes, and then, puts it up on the window so that you can get some prints off of that. And he pulls it out and it goes, shh. I love how it was so easy to just pull out that thing. You didn't need that. What do you put on anyways, whatever. Plumber's glue, whatever. Listen, whatever. Listen. Making me a sandwich, making me a sandwich.
I love the MacGyver thing that he does with the ice cube. He gets an ice cube.
You meddling weirdos. Oh, go ahead. Roll. Okay.
He puts the ice cube in the latch on the door.
Very genius.
And yes. How did he know that? I said, this guy's like MacGyver, and he puts, and so that it looks like she locked herself in the kitchen. He puts an ice cube under the latch, and as the ice cube melts, the latch closes. It goes
down latches from the inside.
And so when her husband comes with the doctor, they have to break the door down.
Yeah. Say. Yeah.
And they say Julie died. They think she committed suicide from the gas, and she died.
Because the doctor comes in and they're trying to resuscitate her. They pull her out. And it's a sad affair. I mean, you think she's kind of dead, you know what I mean?
And then you see George and Neil at the police station, and Neil says it wasn't suicide.
Right.
And then you see George and Jean together
in a car.
And I said, that Neil is not going to make it, that Jean is not going to make it. You can tell.
And this is the whole twist in the film where you end up finding out that in the car, at least, that Neil and George
are in cahoots.
Yeah, they're in cahoots for the money. Not only is George okay because Carol's dead now, and he gets to inherit that family's inheritance.
He doesn't have to share it because they were two heirs that would have had to cut everything in half, and he's like, no, I'm getting all of it now.
Right.
But also her husband Neil.
Yeah, he just wanted her gone.
Well, somebody said something about a life insurance policy when I watched one of the reviews, but I don't remember him saying anything about life insurance.
I don't either.
But it was like that movie. What was a Hitchcock movie? Like, you kill this person for me and I'll kill this person for you.
Right. Exactly. That's what I say when I don't remember.
How did Carol get involved? Because didn't Carol kill somebody or did she not?
Hate Seth the Welsh. No, Carol didn't kill nobody.
Okay.
Carol just was a victim.
Okay. So
And
they're
that's
driving
all.
along together in the car and they're just having a blast, just zigzagging all over the highway, laughing about
Oh,
how they're going to
listen,
get all this money.
two things in that scene. When Neil starts laughing in the car hysterically, I know it's dubbed, but it's the funniest thing ever. He's like, oh, but in a voice that's dubbed and sounds off key and really
The whole
funny.
scene was just weird. I was like, they're
And they're
being really
driving.
weird.
They're driving
On a
like
mountain road, a
2-year-olds.
winding mountain road.
Yeah, like they're 5 years old and on their tricycle going, yee, wee, we got the whole road to ourselves, wee.
But then they see
pass.
someone.
Yes, they do. Who do they see?
Well, for Neil sees there's someone on the side of the road, and Neil's like, "That's
It's
Julie."
Julie. He goes, no, there can't be. And the whole time they're in the car in cahoots, laughing at the police and everybody else because there's no way they're going to catch on. They're not going to connect them to the crime and everything that was committed. But yes, they see Julie. He makes George go back. And
as they're going back, they get descended upon by police.
Oh, descended upon.
And then what happens? They do a Thelma and Louise.
They do a Thelma and Louise where they take off. Woo! And they fly off a cliff and into this
river. I guess it's a
river type thing.
And the vehicle goes upside down. I was like, oh, they're gone.
Well, you think they're gone.
Okay, they could not be. You're right. Maybe they are not.
Well, I mean, there's another ending to the film, right?
I did not know that.
Oh, wait, hold on. Am I thinking, oh, okay, right, but we left out a big part of this.
What? What?
Right before George and Neil were in the car, kind of, saying, you see, there's a scene of George and Jean. Jean is not dead. They meet up.
Yes, and when Neil goes back to Austria, he comes off the train in Austria.
Yes, and they meet up in the desert where Jean wants the money from George. And in this scene, it's so spaghetti Western. It's like they're in kind of a desert
one of them's going to die.
Yeah, and Jean has these silver glasses on that are just really cool, but the camera gets kind of a close-up. It's because, listen, it's so like late 60s, 70s fashion. The silver glasses, it's just a cool thing to see in this. Earlier on, Julie also wears these really cool looking glasses. And,
Julie does? Or
Carol
does? Carol does.
Yeah, Carol does. But that is very cool. But anyways, he gets shot. Jean gets shot. He gets killed. And that's when George drives away. But that was an important part because they're all three in on it together. Neil, George, and Jean. And slowly they get taken care of. But then at the end there, they fly off the cliff. They dive. And how does it end?
Well, the doctor that...
the cute doctor...
Why did George go and get that doctor? Why did he go get the doctor? If they were all just going to kill Julie anyway, why would he even bother to go get that doctor?
That's true. Well, to have evidence that he actually went to go get a psychologist or psychiatrist or doctor.
The only thing I could say at the end was it was very confusing. And I thought to myself, how will Julie ever trust anybody ever again? Like literally everybody in her life was trying to murder her.
Seth the Welsh did. I know. I hear you. Seth the Welsh. Did anyone cover your vice as a locked room and I only have the key?
I just saw that when I was looking for this movie. I just saw that. I want to watch that one, Dino. We should totally watch that.
Make sure you shoot me that. Hopefully I'll remember.
I'll remember. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
I just saw it. I was like, that sounds great. I got to see that.
I was once in Cahoots, Iowa. CM. But yeah, no, it ends with the doctor putting Julie in the car and they put
and
one
they're giving
over
each
on
other
them.
the googly eyes.
Yes, yes, like they're going to drive off and kind of be a pair, and they probably will be. Julie, any guy that kind of hints her way, she's like, oh, there we go. Yeah, it
And
was.
that's why bad things continue to happen to her, because she's a woman who likes,
Zach Cato, I miss you all. Dino, what's your email again? I know it's been given before, but have spaced it. It's always in the description below, but it's Dino, Dino, media 2020 at iCloud.com. So there you go. Hopefully
so
you got
they drive
that
up into the sunset, and I said the scenery was beautiful.
Yeah.
Generally the cinematography, but the scenery was just I love Europe. Everything was just gorgeous. The little town squares were beautiful. The countryside was beautiful. The houses were old, quirky, and beautiful.
Yeah, for sure. So what would you give this out of 10? 6 out of 10. Okay. So not as bad as you made it out the seam. But it seems I'm giving all of these movies kind of similar scores
7.5
that I like. This is another one I would give a 7.5. Listen, if you see me abundantly go overboard and say, oh my God, then we're hitting 8, 9. But these movies where I'm just like, this is a pretty darn good movie. They're usually 7.5 is my limit. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It was okay to watch. 5.
That's okay. That means that's okay. I don't mind that.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem
This
with that at
movie's
all.
crap.
I keep giving them 6s because they're not like complete crap, but they're kind of close to it. I keep giving them 6s, so I thought 5 was not being generous, and 7 was definitely too generous.
I won't anymore. I was gone for a minute. I'm all about this. Thank you, Zach Cato. Always good to have whoever's here. Connie Clary says 6 for me. Rich Cat says not as bad as I was expecting. So that's good.
So we never found out, what was it with her blood fetish? What is that? Where did it come from? Do we need to know why she has this?
No, listen, we don't need to know why. That was just something in the film. People have all kinds of fetishes. You know that. That's a story or a discussion for someone else to have, because there's many different fetishes, but it was an interesting one. And to throw it in a Giallo film, dealing with blood and all of that. Listen, Dario in real life has some kind of glass fetish with killings. So I don't know what that's all about. I don't get it. Mike Barrett says, I will give it an 8. Okay, well, you're 0.5 away from me.
Mike is a big Giallo fan. I mean, he really likes the Giallo, so that's understandable.
Yeah. Did someone
So what's the movie we're reviewing next? That's going to be, I have it written down. Don't tell me. I have it written down.
Okay.
I have it written down.
Oh, boy. And tomorrow...
The Crimes of the Black Cat.
Yes, The Crimes of the Black Cat from 1972. Again, who the hell knows with these watches? It could be a good one, could be okay, could be
But you know what? It's an experience. It's all good. It's all entertainment.
You better believe it, lady.
And we're going to get through this, man. We're going to get through this.
Yes, we are. And then we got to get to... We'll take a break, and then we'll talk about getting to creamy, because that's...
Yes, because I've been asking you that for a while.
But that's an earlier. We're talking 50s,
60s.
German. Anyways, we'll discuss it. That's for sure. And
that's KRIMI.
Tomorrow night we got another Paranormal Into the Night. Listen, if you guys missed Paranormal Into the Night with Michelle Belanger,
please watch it. It was fantastic.
It was such a good. Over 30 books she's done. She's going to be back on is it January sometime? Later January or maybe early March.
And she's very calm and even-tempered, not like this one.
No. But tomorrow night, Kimber Anwin Hughes, a psychic medium, internationally known.
On the microphone.
Yeah, so who knows how that's going to go. And tonight, going to have just your good old spooky horror compilation, starting off with a couple CBS Radio Mystery Theaters, and then all night with others like Inner Sanctum and stuff like that. So
Any
enjoy
Broadway is
those.
my beat. I haven't seen any Boston Blackie for a while.
I still have shows that I got. People don't like the organ, but listen, I think there's a couple more streams that I got to get up to complete my Boston Blackie collection on the channel. So that will be going up soon. But we also got The Night Evelyn Came Home Out of the Grave coming up soon too. And then Christmas Eve. Yes, we will be doing something Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Christmas Eve will be Clue, a commentary with Dave Plouffe. And on Christmas Day, me and Ginger will be right here doing a newer movie, an A24 Southern Gothic movie, Pearl, which I'm really excited to do that movie.
Me too. I am too.
I watched another movie with that actress in it. And anyways, I'm not even going to go on. She's a cutie too, but
oh boy.
Anyways, here we go. That's it. Make sure you give a thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff. Whatever the hell you want to do. Become a patron, channel member.
Or not, whatever.
Comment on the video after if you wish.
Please comment.
And if you guys definitely enjoy these streams, see you on Sunday and see you on Wednesdays with Ginger. So there you go. Right? She don't like to say nothing at the end. Mia Goth. Yes. Thank you, Seth the Welsh. Mia Goth. Yes. She was in another horror film. This is kind of like a prequel to that. That movie was called X. And yes, it was a horror movie that involved ripping the paper. My ears. But great review, guys. Thank you, guys. The night of. Okay, so with that said, say something.
Thank you, Linda. My